Welcome back, 8th grade scholars. I am absolutely thrilled to be your teacher today as we jump right into something you literally look at every single day on your phones, in your textbooks, and all over the internet. Today, we are mastering how to interpret digital and multimodal texts. Now, I know that sounds like a super fancy academic term, but it really just means learning how to read the visual world around you. We're going to uncover exactly how graphs, images, and charts work together with words to tell a story. If you can master this, you won't just be a better student, you're going to be a much sharper, more discerning thinker in the real world. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our quick roadmap for today's lesson. 1. The power of visuals. 2. Decoding graphs and charts. 3. The importance of captions. 4. Spotting misleading visuals. And 5. The godly learner philosophy. Section 1. The power of visuals and why images really matter. Here is the big takeaway I really want you to grasp today. When you're reading digital texts, whether that's an online article, a science blog, or some history presentation, the visuals are just as absolutely crucial as the written words. You can't just skim past the pictures to get to the next paragraph. They carry critical information. And honestly, this isn't some brand new concept. Visual, clear communication is incredibly important to God. In Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2, the scripture actually says, "Write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads it." God values clear communication that helps us grasp complex information quickly. When something is made plain and visible, the person who reads it can take immediate action. They can literally run with it. That's exactly what good charts and graphs do for us today. So what do we actually call these things? They're called multimodal texts. That simply means texts that blend written words with visuals, like graphs, charts, and infographics, to explain ideas clearly. And you are going to see these absolutely everywhere. In school, you'll need to combine data from a science chart with a written report. Out in the real world, you'll be reading infographics in health reports, charts in news articles, and eventually graphs in business presentations. If you can't interpret them, you're missing out on a massive part of the meaning. Moving on to Section 2. Decoding graphs and charts and the anatomy of visual data. Let's move to how this all builds together. Just like you learn the anatomy of a cell in biology, you need a system here. When you're confronted with a brand new graph, follow these 3 simple steps. Step 1, always check the title. This tells you exactly what the visual is about before you even look at a single number. Step 2, look at your labels. That horizontal line across the bottom is your x-axis, which usually tracks time or categories. The vertical line going up the side is your y-axis, usually measuring the amount or percentage. And step 3, check the legend. This is the little key on the side that explains what the different symbols, lines, or colors actually mean. Do not skip these steps, or you'll just be lost in a sea of numbers. Let's look at a practical example. Imagine you're reading a news article about the climate, and there's a line graph showing global temperatures rising over a 50-year period. By checking the title, you know it's about global temperatures. By looking at the x-axis, you see that 50-year timeline, and the y-axis shows the degrees in Celsius or Fahrenheit. The clear labels and units directly confirm the claims written in the article's paragraphs. The visual literally proves the text. Section 3. The importance of captions and getting the full story. Okay, so graphs and charts are data, but what about photographs? Just because you see a picture doesn't mean you automatically know the whole story. You must absolutely never skip that tiny text beneath them, and this brilliantly illustrates why. Look at the difference here. On the one hand, we have this incredibly powerful historical photo of a civil rights march. It's moving, sure, but without words, we don't know if it's from 1960 or 1965, or if it's happening in Alabama or Washington, D.C. Now look at the exact same photo, but with a caption naming the exact date, the location, and the people involved. The caption adds vital, critical context that the photograph alone simply cannot show you. The image grabs your heart and your attention, but the caption gives your mind the facts. Section 4. Spotting misleading visuals and seeking the truth. Now, this is where you get to be a total detective. As an 8th grader navigating the internet, you are a truth seeker, and unfortunately, sometimes visual data is incomplete or even deliberately designed to trick you. Now, what's really interesting about this example is this bar chart that shows a quote-unquote drastic drop in sales between 2 months. The bar for the second month looks like it fell right off a cliff. But wait, look closer at the y-axis, that vertical line. It doesn't start at 0. It is intentionally cut off. If a company goes from making 100 sales down to 95 sales, and the graph only shows the numbers from 90 to 100, that tiny little drop of 5 looks like a massive 50% plunge visually. They are totally exaggerating the difference by messing with the axis. So the crucial point is this. Do not jump to conclusions based purely on the shape of a line or a bar. Always check the full time range. A chart comparing only 2 months might be hiding a massive year-long trend of growth. Always read carefully, analyze the numbers on the axes, and compare those visuals directly to the main text to see if they actually line up. Do not be fooled by a tricky graphic. All right, to make sure these visual literacy skills are totally locked into your brilliant minds, here are your 5 homework questions to tackle. Number 1, what is the very first thing you should check when reading a graph? Number 2, why is the legend so important? Number 3, how exactly do captions help you understand images? Number 4, can you explain an example of a misleading visual? And number 5, why should you always connect visuals back to the main text? Take your time with these, they are super practical, real-world skills. Finally, Section 5, the Godly Learner Philosophy, and bringing wisdom into education. As we wrap up our lesson today, I really want to connect this academic skill we just learned directly to our spiritual discipline. At HeroesMart Academy, we intertwine biblical morality tightly with education. Why do we do that? Because education without morality can actually hurt. Think about it for a second. Someone who is incredibly smart at reading graphs and manipulating data, but lacks morality, could use that skill to create those misleading charts we just talked about. They could use their intelligence to trick people. We believe that knowledge and intelligence shouldn't just make you more capable, they absolutely must help you make wise, God-honoring choices. Romans chapter 8, verses 6 and 7 teaches us that keeping the mind spiritually minded leads to life and peace. When you pursue academic excellence, when you learn to read multimodal texts, analyze axes, and spot truth from fiction, you are training your mind. But you have got to keep that mind centered on God, on truth, on wisdom, and on righteous choices. That is what leads to true life and peace. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought to really chew on today. As you go out and navigate this highly digital, highly visual world on your screens, how will you use your new visual literacy skills to actively seek truth and make God-honoring choices? Don't just mindlessly consume information, interpret it, challenge it, and use it wisely. Have a fantastic rest of your day, scholars, and I will see you in our next explainer.